Welcome into the Kansas City Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Kansas City has made their fourth-round selection. It is Joshua Kaindoh, the edge rusher, out of Florida State, the final pick of round number 4. This was a comp pick for Kansas City, and this is an interesting player. I believe we've talked about him before on this show. If we haven't, we'll talk about him a lot here, obviously, now that they have drafted him. A former 5-star recruit that was supposed to be a beast in college. Injuries, questionable coaching, and underachievement basically led to an underwhelming college career. So this is very much a pick of upside by Kansas City, and for those reasons, I like it. You guys see the measurables right now. 6'5", 250, 260 pounds. He's got really good bend. He can get off the edge, and he can stop the run as well. It didn't come into fruition at Florida State. Only 10 career college starts. I mean, for where he was rated as a high school recruit, pretty underwhelming college career. I'm not gonna dispute that. But you're Kansas City, and you've got a roster that's in very good shape. So you get on day 3 of the NFL draft, you can take a couple of swings, and I like this overall for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll give it a B+. I think it's a good, a calculated selection here. Final pick of round 4. You're basically into round 5. You guys can grade the pick for me, A, B, C, D, or F, and we'll break down more of this selection in just a second. Get subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report if you want more draft news, some rumors, more videos after the draft. This is the place to be, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. We'll try to break down every other pick individually, but I can promise you this, we will have final draft grades here on the channel. So worst case scenario, you will hear about all of the picks once the NFL draft is over. Hit that red subscribe button. The Chiefs Report is growing like crazy. Let's continue to have it grow thanks to you guys. Subscribe today for more Kansas City Chiefs videos. Joshua Kaindoh, Florida State in 2020, you guys see the numbers. He didn't play in that many games. He had more injuries, 0 sacks. I mean, again, this guy was not productive in college. Like, if you're just looking at the raw numbers, you'd be like, what is this, a walk-on? Is this just a career backup? Kind of. In college, he kind of was, but this is a, hey, just a couple of years ago, this is one of the most touted recruits in the country. Let's bring him into a good system with Steve Spagnuolo, who has done a really good job. Remember, Michael Dana last year, a lot of people had him as an undrafted guy. He comes in, gives the Chiefs 2.5, 3 sacks as a rotation pass rusher. Maybe Joshua Kaindoh can do that as well, and potentially long-term has some upside to develop into a starter. And remember, Kansas City is thin at edge. That defensive line, especially on the interior, really good. Chris Jones, Jaron Reed, Tershawn Wharton, a couple of other guys as well. Derek Nottie. Outside of Frank Clark, though, edge is thin. Taco Charlton, Michael Dana, a couple of other guys that haven't really done much, fringe roster spot type of guys. Kaindoh, at the least, gives you some depth, gives you some competition once training camp comes around, and for those reasons and for the potential upside that could be big, I very much am a fan of this pick. Do you agree with me? Do you like the pick? Type Y for yes, type N for no. If this was a team that is rebuilding, I wouldn't like it as much. But this is a team that doesn't have glaring needs on its roster. It's a team that's trying to win Super Bowls. That's when you can afford to take swings on day 3 of the NFL draft, and that is absolutely what this pick is, and it's why I like it. And you guys can let me know why for yes or N for no. Today's show is sponsored by Newsbreak. We partnered up with these guys a couple of months ago, and it's changed my life. The Newsbreak app, you download it on your phone, chatsports.com/ChiefsNB. Local news alerts. You can keep up with the weather in your area as well. Also, if you like things outside of sports, pop culture, politics, food reviews, new restaurants going up in your area, Newsbreak is the place for you. I don't like having to surf a bunch of different websites and apps for my local news and sports content. It's all aggregated on the Newsbreak app. So download it on your phone today, chatsports.com/ChiefsNB. Oh, and by the way, we got more videos over there as well if you search the Chiefs Report up there in the search bar. Get Newsbreak right now because it's all going to change your life today. So let's kind of just do a little recap action here. So obviously we talked about the 2 picks yesterday here on the Kansas City Chiefs report. Nick Bolton and Creed Humphrey in round 2. I felt really good. Those were solid picks. Those weren't like, oh my gosh, title-changing type of selections. Creed Humphrey could be long-term. That might be a 10, 12-year center in the National Football League. We'll see if he starts this year. They did sign Austin Blythe, so I'll be curious to see how that works out. Nick Bolton, ideally, you pair him up with Willie Gay Jr., and that's your 1-2 punch at linebacker long-term. And then you add Joshua Kaindoh here on day 3 of the draft, who's more of a boom or bust type of pick, right? Like, it's very possible 2 years from now he's fighting for a roster spot. It's also possible that maybe he's your number 2 edge rusher. Like, he's got that type of ability if it can all come together in the NFL, and this does happen. You do see these high recruits, they go to these schools, and for whatever reason, it's like, the coaches didn't know how to use him, or he wasn't motivated enough. He was just trying to get to the NFL. Maybe the work ethic wasn't what it needed to be. I don't know what all went on with Kaindoh. I know there were injury concerns as well, so that was certainly part of why he never developed into the superstar type of player we thought he could be in college. But Kansas City, again, is saying, hey, we like Spags. He likes big defensive ends. That's what Kaindoh is. Let's plug him into our system and see if he can give us some production at the defensive end spot. What's been your favorite Chiefs draft pick so far? I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. I'm going to go Creed Humphrey. That's been my favorite pick so far, but I think you could argue all 3 of them have been pretty good as well. I just think Humphrey really has a chance to be a decade-long center in this league, and that's very, very valuable. So get your votes in. Favorite Chiefs draft pick so far. So you look ahead, a couple of picks to go here. You got round 5, number 175 coming up. You got your comp 5th-round pick as well at number 181 overall. And then the 6th-round pick, 207. We'll see if Brett Veach does any trading. I thought trading down at some point would have been an option. At this point, if you trade down, you're not really going to get that much extra. You might pick up an extra 6th or a 7th or something like that. But I think you can be very pleased. What was the mission this offseason? Retool the offensive line with free agency and in the draft. Check, ding, you've done that. You fill a need at linebacker with Nick Bolton, who Kansas City is high on. They've been linked to him. They've watched him play locally at the University of Missouri. Good chance he's a day 1 starter. That's a check mark as well. I'd like to take a swing at some kind of receiver with one of those 5th-round picks. You know what tells me, too, with them not drafting a corner yet? I think I would look for this team to re-sign Bashaud Breeland. That's what I would do. Give him a 1-year deal, $4 or $5 million, whatever the case may be. You're good to go there at corner. You can address that next year in the draft if you need to do so. You filled just about every need you need to if you are Kansas City. Wide receiver is the one last spot I'd like to add a body to the mix. Maybe we'll do that later on day 3. And, hey, we'll cover it on this show. I'll cover it on Twitter as things happen at HGramNFL. You guys are awesome. More videos coming up very soon.